Welcome back to our channel, Collectors and Treasure Hunters. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of Canadian nickels, the humble 5-cent coin that holds more value than you might ever imagine. Over the years, the Royal Canadian Mint has produced millions of these coins, but only a few are considered true treasures in the numismatic world. Some are worth hundreds, others thousands, depending on their year, condition, and unique characteristics. In this video we'll count down the top 3 most valuable Canadian 5-cent coins ever made, from rare silver editions to minting errors that collectors crave. So grab your coin jar, sit back, and let's find out if you might be holding a fortune in your hands. Let's get started. First up, the 1974 Canadian 5-cent coin was minted by the Royal Canadian Mint and is part of the Elizabeth II coinage series. The obverse side features the right-facing portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Makin, which was used from 1965 to 1989. The reverse side proudly displays the iconic beaver on a rock, a classic symbol of Canada's industrious spirit and natural heritage, designed by G. E. Kruger Gray. This design has been in use since 1937 and remains one of the most beloved motifs in Canadian coinage. The coin's composition is 99.9% nickel, giving it that distinctive silvery shine that resists corrosion and represents a period when Canada still produced high-quality metallic coins. In terms of mintage, the Royal Canadian Mint produced approximately 83 million 5-cent coins in 1974, making it a relatively common circulation issue. However, what makes the coin interesting to collectors is not only its age but also its condition, minting quality, and die variations. Over time, very fine condition coins from this year have become harder to find due to circulation wear, scratches, and environmental damage. That's why collectors appreciate coins that have retained their original detail, such as clear beaver fur texture, readable legends, and a bright yet naturally aged surface that reflects light evenly. When we say the coin is in very fine condition, it means the coin shows moderate wear, with most major details visible and strong, though there may be minor flattening on high points, such as the queen's hair or the beaver's body. In this grade, the coin has seen circulation but has been well preserved, making it appealing for collectors who focus on affordable, yet visually attractive pieces. Coins in very fine condition fall in the middle range between heavily circulated good and almost uncirculated AU grades, striking the right balance between history and beauty. In today's collector market, a 1974 Canadian 5-cent coin in very fine condition is generally valued between 15 cents and $0.40, depending on current demand and market trends. Uncirculated examples, however, can fetch up to $2 or more, especially if they exhibit lustrous, unblemished surfaces or come from special mint sets. Remember, value can also increase significantly if you discover any minting errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or double dies, which are extremely rare but highly sought after by coin collectors worldwide. This coin may not be worth hundreds of dollars on its own, but it holds historical and sentimental value for many collectors. The 1970s marked a unique era in Canadian coinage, a time when nickel coins were transitioning in composition and style, reflecting the nation's economic and industrial changes. Owning a 1974 5-cent coin connects you to that era, making it not just a piece of money, but a tangible artifact of Canadian history, representing stability, craftsmanship, and everyday life from over 5 decades ago. If you're collecting these coins, always remember to store them properly. Keep your 1974 nickels in a dry environment, preferably inside a plastic holder or coin flip, away from humidity and direct sunlight. Never polish or clean the coin, as doing so can reduce its collector value drastically. Natural toning and aging are actually signs of authenticity that many collectors appreciate. Over time, these coins may increase in value, especially as fewer high-grade examples remain in circulation. The 1974 nickel is a great coin to start your journey with. It's affordable, historically meaningful, and represents the continuity of a design that has been loved for nearly a century. Collecting coins like this one helps you appreciate the artistry of minting and the cultural importance of preserving everyday objects that tell the story of a nation's identity. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned numismatist, adding this coin to your collection is both rewarding and educational. As you explore further, consider researching other Canadian coins from the 1970s, such as the 1974 penny, dime, and quarter, to see how design elements and materials evolved over time. You might be surprised by how each denomination reflects different aspects of Canada's geography, wildlife, and national pride. If you come across coins with special mint marks or in proof-like condition, make sure to check them with a magnifier or consult a coin value guide, as small differences can sometimes make a big impact on worth. If you enjoy learning about coins like this and discovering their hidden stories and real-world value, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on future coin videos. We upload detailed breakdowns, value updates, and interesting numismatic facts every week, all designed to help you grow your collection and knowledge. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you have a 1974 Canadian 5-cent coin in your collection? We'd love to hear from you. Next up, the 1986 Canadian 5-cent coin, commonly known as the nickel, was struck by the Royal Canadian Mint during a period when Canada was transitioning from older minting technologies to more modern, high-precision presses. This coin was minted at the Ottawa facility, with a total mintage of around 128 million pieces, making it a relatively common issue. However, not all of them have survived in collectible condition. Many were worn down in circulation or damaged over decades. Coins that remain in very good VG or higher grades are now becoming scarcer, especially those with sharp details on the beaver design and clean rims. For collectors who love mid-20th century Canadian nickels, the 1986 issue stands out as one of the last years featuring the traditional nickel composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, before changes in metal content became more widespread in the following decades. Let's take a close look at the design. On the obverse side, you'll find the classic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold McKim, showing her wearing a tiara. This effigy was used on Canadian coins from 1965 until 1989, representing the young queen in her prime years. Around the rim, the inscription reads, Elizabeth II DG Regina. The reverse features the iconic beaver on a rock, an image that has symbolized Canadian industriousness since 1937. It was designed by artist G. Kruger Gray, and below the beaver, you'll see the denomination 5 cents, along with the date 1986 and the word Canada above. The detail of the water ripples, the beaver's tail texture, and the rock's contours are important grading indicators for determining the coin's condition and potential collector value. This coin is made of a nickel-copper alloy with a weight of 4.6 grams, a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, and a smooth edge. The bright silvery tone of the coin makes it resistant to corrosion, and many examples still retain a natural metallic shine decades later. Over time, however, exposure to air and moisture may have caused light tarnish or patina, which can slightly alter its appearance. In very good condition, your 1986 nickel should still display a clear beaver outline, visible lettering, and a reasonably sharp rim. Coins in higher grades, especially extra fine EF, about uncirculated AU, or mint state MS, can command higher values from dedicated collectors and Canadian coin enthusiasts. Now let's talk about the part that most of you are waiting for, the value. In very good VG, circulated condition, the 1986 Canadian 5-cent coin typically holds a modest collector's premium, valued between 10 cents to 25 cents CAD. However, as the condition improves, so does the worth. Coins in uncirculated or mint state, MS60 to MS65, can range anywhere from $1 to 10 Canadian dollars, depending on strike quality, luster, and market demand. Rare examples with full details, mirror-like surfaces, or die errors can fetch even higher prices, occasionally exceeding $15 to 20 Canadian dollars in online auctions or coin shows. While the 1986 nickel isn't a rare year, high-grade survivors remain collectible for those building full-date nickel sets. Collectors should also be on the lookout for mint errors or variety types that can boost the coin's value. Some 1986 nickels have been found with die cracks, off-center strikes, double die lettering, or planchet flaws. These errors can make a normally common coin quite desirable, depending on the severity and visibility of the defect. For instance, a 1986 nickel with a double date or visible beaver doubling can sell for several dollars more than a normal strike. Always use a magnifying lens or coin loop to check your coin carefully. Small differences can make a big impact in the numismatic world. The Royal Canadian Mint has long been known for its precision and attention to detail. In 1986, overproduction variants and die setups were reportedly used across batches to maintain consistent quality during mass production. These slight mint variations, sometimes called types by collectors, included minor die re-engraving, polishing differences, and subtle alignment changes. While most are visually similar, expert numismatists can identify which mint setup your coin came from by examining die characteristics, rim thickness, and font spacing. Such studies make collecting 1986 nickels even more engaging, especially for those who appreciate the craftsmanship behind Canada's iconic small change. Even though this coin may not make you instantly rich, it holds strong collectible and historical value. Coins like the 1986 nickel serve as accessible entry points for beginners in numismatics while still intriguing advanced collectors who enjoy studying die varieties and mint conditions. As older coins continue to disappear from circulation, their desirability naturally increases. A well-preserved 1986 nickel can complement a full Canadian coin set beautifully. Many collectors prefer keeping coins from the 1980s in protective holders or albums to prevent further wear and tarnish, especially if they have clean surfaces or strong luster. If you already own a 1986 Canadian 5-cent coin, proper storage and handling can preserve its value. Always handle coins by their edges to avoid fingerprints or smudges. Keep them in acid-free holders, coin flips, or albums away from humidity and direct sunlight. Avoid cleaning your coin with chemicals, as this can scratch or strip the original mint finish, a mistake that can reduce its worth dramatically. Instead, store it in a cool, dry place and only use a soft cloth for gentle dust removal. Over time, your coin will retain its natural patina, enhancing its vintage charm and numismatic appeal. And that wraps up our deep dive into the 1986 Canadian 5-cent coin, a small piece of Canadian history that still shines bright after nearly 4 decades. Whether you collect for fun, investment, or nostalgia, every coin tells a story, and this one carries the legacy of Canadian craftsmanship and design. If you enjoyed this detailed exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload about rare coins, Canadian numismatics, and hidden treasures in your pocket change. Leave a comment below sharing what year or coin you'd like us to feature next, and remember, your next valuable find might already be sitting right in your wallet. Next up, the Canadian 5-cent coin underwent a remarkable transformation between 1967 and 1992. Before this period, Canada's 5-cent coin had already seen changes in size and metal composition, moving from silver in the early 20th century to nickel by the 1940s. The 1967 edition marked Canada's 100th anniversary, making that year's coin one of the most beloved and collectible issues. Designed by Alex Colville, the 1967 nickel replaced the traditional beaver with a hopping rabbit to celebrate the Centennial of Confederation. From 1968 onwards, the coin returned to the beaver design, but the alloy, portrait of the Queen, and minting process continued to evolve until 1992, the 125th anniversary of Canada. The obverse side of these coins features the profile of Queen Elizabeth II, which changed slightly over the decades. From 1967 to 1969, the youthful portrait by Arnold Makin was used, and later coins, 1970 to 1989, showcased the more mature depiction by Dora de Pettery Hunt. In 1990, a new effigy by Susanna Blunt was introduced, featuring a refined, regal portrait that remained in use for many years. The reverse design typically displayed the iconic Canadian beaver sitting on a rock in the water, symbolizing hard work and endurance, except for the special 1967 rabbit design. The combination of simplicity, symbolism, and artistry made these coins not only currency but also miniature pieces of national art. From 1967 to 1981, most Canadian 5-cent coins were composed of 99.9% nickel, giving them a magnetic quality and bright silver-like appearance. Between 1982 and 1999, however, the Royal Canadian Mint adjusted the composition to 75% copper and 25% nickel, which gave the coin a slightly duller tone. Each 5-cent coin had a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, a thickness of 1.76 millimeters, and weighed 4.54 grams. The edge was smooth, not reeded, and the overall production quality from both the Ottawa and Winnipeg mints was exceptional, leading to the survival of many coins in excellent condition even today. Over these 25 years, hundreds of millions of 5-cent coins were minted. The Royal Canadian Mint produced them in Ottawa and later in Winnipeg, with variations in mint marks and slight metal differences. The 1967 Centennial issue alone saw more than 37 million coins, making it fairly common but still valuable to collectors in uncirculated condition. Later mintages from the 1970s to the early 1990s varied year by year, with some lower production runs especially from the early 1990s being more desirable. Coins with brilliant uncirculated surfaces, proof-like sets, or special edition mint marks often attract collectors seeking perfection. When it comes to value, most circulated 5-cent coins from 1967 to 1992 are worth between 10 cents and $1 Canadian, depending on wear and rarity. However, coins in uncirculated or proof-like condition can sell for $3 to $10, especially if they display strong luster and clean fields. The 1967 Rabbit nickel remains one of the most collected commemorative Canadian coins, fetching up to $25 or more in pristine mint state condition. Rare varieties or mint errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet flaws can be worth $50 to over $100 to serious collectors. Always remember that condition, rarity, and demand drive the price. Now let's talk about the references, which often relate to coin mint sets or special collector issues from the Royal Canadian Mint. These sets usually included multiple denominations and were packaged for collectors in proof or specimen quality. If your 5-cent coin came from such a set, it is likely in much better condition, often mirror-like and sharply struck, and therefore worth significantly more. Some 40th anniversary and commemorative mint sets are highly prized today for their craftsmanship, and coins removed from these sets often sell well on numismatic markets or online auction platforms. Among the coins minted during 1967 to 1992, certain error coins can turn a common nickel into a collector's treasure. Watch out for double die obverse, rotated dies, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. These mistakes escaped the mint's strict quality control but are now worth much more than face value. Some coins from the early 1970s have minor die variations or slightly different beaver engravings that specialists love to hunt for. Even a faint doubling around the Queen's lettering or date can attract interest, so it's always worth checking your coins carefully under magnification. Over the years, the market for mid-20th century and late 20th century Canadian coins has remained steady and growing. Many collectors now focus on building complete date runs, including the transitional 1967 Rabbit issue and all the nickel variations up to 1992. Coins from these decades are still affordable but slowly increasing in value as older collections disappear and mint condition examples become harder to find. For investors and hobbyists alike, holding on to high-grade 5-cent coins, especially from the Centennial era, can be a smart long-term numismatic move. So, whether you have a 1967 Hopping Rabbit 5-cent coin or a 1992 nickel from Canada's 125th anniversary, every one of these pieces tells a story of the nation's growth and artistic pride. Even the smallest coins can carry tremendous historical and sentimental value. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history, design, and value of Canadian 5-cent coins from 1967 to 1992, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a future coin history or value guide. Share your own finds in the comments below. Who knows, you might have a rare mint error sitting right in your pocket change. Thanks for watching.